Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be diving deep into the heart of Westeros to uncover the story of one of its most iconic, complex, and controversial figures, Daenerys Targaryen. From a frightened, exiled girl to the formidable mother of dragons, her journey is a masterclass in power, resilience, and tragedy. So grab your dragon glass, and let's trace the fiery path of the last Targaryen. Our story begins not with a roar, but with a whisper. Daenerys Stormborn, born on Dragonstone during a raging tempest that claimed her mother's life, was immediately thrust into a world of peril with her brother Viserys. She fled across the narrow sea as Robert's rebellion decimated their dynasty. Their childhood was one of constant running, of begging for scraps, and living in fear of assassins sent by the new king, Robert Baratheon. Viserys, consumed by bitterness and a desperate desire to reclaim the Iron Throne, saw his younger sister not as family, but as a commodity key to unlock his ambitions. He was cruel and abusive, constantly reminding her not to wake the dragon. This instilled in Daenerys a deep-seated fear, but also a quiet, simmering strength. The turning point came when she was just a teenager. Viserys, in a pact to gain an army, sold her in marriage to the powerful Dothraki warlord Khal Drogo. Stripped of her home, her language, and her identity, Daenerys was terrified. But it was here, amidst the harsh plains of the Dothraki Sea, that she began her transformation. She didn't just survive, she adapted. She learned the Dothraki language, embraced their customs, and, most importantly, found love and respect with Khal Drogo. For the first time, she wasn't just Viserys' pawn. She was a Khaleesi, a queen in her own right. It was during this time that she received her wedding gifts, 3 petrified dragon eggs, beautiful but seemingly lifeless relics of her family's lost glory. The fragile new life she had built was shattered when Viserys, impatient and arrogant, threatened her and her unborn child. Khal Drogo, in a brutal display of loyalty to his Khaleesi, gave Viserys the golden crown he so desperately wanted, a pot of molten gold. With her brother gone, Daenerys was finally free from his shadow. She was the last Targaryen, the true heir. But tragedy struck again. An assassination attempt poisoned Drogo, and in a desperate bid to save him, Daenerys turned to blood magic, a decision that cost her everything: her husband's life, her unborn son, and the loyalty of the Dothraki who abandoned her. Left with only a few loyal followers and 3 dragon eggs, Daenerys was at her lowest point. But from the deepest ashes of despair, fire and blood were reborn. In a moment of pure instinct and faith, she built a funeral pyre for her husband, placed the dragon eggs beside him, and walked into the flames. When the fires died down and the sun rose, she emerged from the ashes, unharmed, with 3 newly hatched dragons clinging to her body. She was no longer just Daenerys Targaryen. She was the mother of dragons, the unburnt. This miraculous event wasn't just the birth of her dragons. It was the birth of a legend. With her new power, her mission crystallized. She would not just reclaim her family's throne, she would build a better world. Her journey took her to the great cities of Slaver's Bay, Astapa, Yunkai, and Meereen. In Astapa, she witnessed the horrific cruelty inflicted upon the slave soldiers known as the Unsullied. In a brilliant and ruthless maneuver, she tricked the masters, offering one of her dragons in exchange for the entire army. Once the Unsullied were under her command, she uttered the now famous word, Drakeries, and unleashed dragon fire upon the slavers. She didn't just buy an army, she liberated them, earning their undying loyalty. Her title grew. She was now the breaker of chains. This became her crusade. City by city, she dismantled the centuries-old institution of slavery, freeing tens of thousands. But ruling is far harder than conquering. In Meereen, she tried to establish a just society, but was met with insurgency from the Sons of the Harpy, political backstabbing, and the immense difficulty of changing a culture overnight. She faced impossible choices, even having to chain 2 of her own dragons after they became a danger to the people she sought to protect. These years in Essos tested her, hardened her, and taught her the brutal calculus of leadership. She learned that good intentions don't always lead to good outcomes, and that the path to justice is often paved with blood and sacrifice. Finally, with a massive fleet, a Dothraki horde, her unsullied army, and 3 fully grown dragons, Daenerys set sail for Westeros. She had a powerful claim, a righteous cause, and the council of advisors like Tyrion Lannister. Her arrival was a shock to the system. She quickly secured alliances and won key battles, proving the might of her dragons at the loot train attack, where she utterly decimated the Lannister army. For a moment, it seemed her victory was inevitable. She was the hero the people had been waiting for. But Westeros was not Slaver's Bay. Here, the political games were more complex, and her enemies, particularly Cersei Lannister, were more cunning and ruthless than any she had faced before. Worse, she began to suffer devastating losses. Her allies were outmaneuvered. One of her dragons was killed and reanimated by the Night King, and the Northern Lords, loyal to Jon Snow, viewed her with suspicion. The revelation of Jon's true parentage, that he was Aegon Targaryen, the true heir to the Iron Throne, was a critical blow, undermining not only her claim, but also her sense of destiny. The cracks began to show. The loss of her loyal friend and advisor, Missandei, executed on Cersei's orders, was a breaking point. The cold reception in the north, the betrayals, and the immense personal losses chipped away at the idealism that had once defined her. The fear she had always fought to overcome in others was now being turned against her. In her mind, if she could not be loved in Westeros, then she would be feared. Her family's motto, fire and blood, started to sound less like a historical saying and more like a personal promise. The final descent came during the battle for King's Landing. After the city's bells of surrender rang, a moment that should have signified victory and the dawn of her new age, something inside Daenerys snapped. Looking at the Red Keep, the symbol of everything that was stolen from her family, and fueled by grief, paranoia, and a lifetime of trauma, she made a terrible choice. She unleashed her dragon's fire not just on soldiers, but on the entire city, on the innocent men, women, and children she had once promised to protect. In that moment, the breaker of chains became a tyrant, fulfilling the very fears her enemies had stoked about her Targaryen madness. This horrific act sealed her fate. Jon Snow, the man she loved, saw that her messianic vision for the world would be built on ash and fear. In the throne room, amidst the rubble of her conquest, he made the agonizing choice to end her reign before it could truly begin, ending the story of the mother of dragons. Daenerys Targaryen's story is a profound tragedy. It is a cautionary tale about how the pursuit of a righteous cause can become twisted by power, trauma, and loss. Was she always destined to fall, or was she a product of her brutal circumstances? It's a debate that still rages on. But there's no denying her impact. She was a survivor, a liberator, a conqueror, and a queen who changed the world, for better and for worse. What are your thoughts on Daenerys' journey? Was her ending justified, or was it a tragic betrayal of her character? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next one.